Good luck.
Merhabalar herkese. Bugün Kanada'nın en iyi üniversitelerinden York University'yi ağırlıyoruz. Karl ve Başar bizlerle olacak. Lisans programları, lisans hazırlık programları birçok detayla ilgili bize bilgilendirecekler. Sorularınız olduğunda lütfen questions bölümüne yazmayı unutmayın. Sunum bitiminde tüm sorular yanıtlanacaktır. Şimdi önce York Üniversitesi ile ilgili bir video ile başlıyoruz. Hello, Carl and Bashar. Stage is yours. We can share the video. Thank you.
Thank you. There we go. I got to take the mute button off. All right. So hi, everyone. I hope you and your family are happy and healthy over in Turkey as we move through this often difficult COVID-19 situation. So in a normal year, I'd be planning my next visit to Turkey right now to visit your schools and meet with future students and their parents all in person. And I'm looking forward very much to visiting Istanbul, Ankara, and Izmir again whenever I have the chance. But until then, we're super happy to have a chance to speak with you all today, and we're looking forward to providing you with a whole lot of information about studying in Canada and York University. So my name is Carl Sachs, and I'm York's recruitment manager for undergraduate or bachelor's programs for students coming from Turkey. So I'm that bald guy in the middle there, surrounded by some of our work study students at York International, which is our international student office. So also presenting today will be my colleague Bashar Ansari, who is the recruitment manager for the York University English Language Institute at our School of Continuing the School of Continuing Studies. So in today's presentation, I'll be covering a bit about studying in Canada and Toronto, about what York U has to offer, admission requirements, tuition and scholarships, and then Bashar will speak about some of our English language and some postgrad programs. And with the remaining time, we'll do a question and answer period. So as we go through the presentation, please write down any questions you might have or post them in the questions chat box that you'll see on your screen there. All right, so let's begin. This here is a map of our beautiful country, Canada. For those who don't already know, we are the second largest country in the world. Again, it is big. So just as an example, to fly from the far east coast of Canada in Newfoundland to the far west coast of Vancouver Island, it's about 9 hours, which is about the same time as a flight from Istanbul to Beijing, China. Again, it is a big country, with several different regions and climates within it, but also amazing university options from the east to the west. So this map also includes some lovely Canadian cliches, like ice hockey, maple syrup, wonderful wildlife, beavers, moose, bears, oh my. Yes, we do have those wonderful things in Canada, but besides that, it is a diverse and welcoming country, well known as being peaceful and safe, known for its strong economy, and also our very stable political system. And of course, also a great destination for international students due to its very strong post-secondary education system. So York University is located in Toronto, in the southernmost part of Canada. So Toronto, it's the largest city in Canada, the fourth largest city in North America, and one of the most multicultural cities in the world. So fun fact, more than 50% of the people that live in Toronto were born outside of Canada. So we're used to having people from other countries and cultures and backgrounds speaking multiple languages, practicing different religions around us, and we like that. It is a welcoming place for people coming from overseas. And one thing that I really love about Toronto, and this ties in with how multicultural it is that you can get authentic, delicious food from any country or any culture in the world any day of the week. I have two fantastic Turkish restaurants that are just a 5-minute walk from my place. So even though I haven't been able to visit for the last year, I am getting my Turkish food fix nearby, which is great. And of course, that's not so great for the old waistline, the old belly, especially during these COVID times where it's a little more difficult to go out and get some exercise, but it's definitely good for the soul. And beyond the amazing food scene, of course, Toronto is the financial and business center of Canada, an economic hub, and a center for the arts, film, and entertainment. And York University is a reflection of the city that we are in. We are the third largest university in Canada. We have about 55,000 students from over 170 different countries, and we have strong relationships in industry and the arts in both the Canadian and international communities. Our two main campuses in Toronto are home to over 7,200 international students. We are a research-intensive university with leading professors in their fields, offering over 200 programs at the undergraduate, master's, and PhD levels. We have an extensive and well-connected alumni network worldwide, and we're ranked as one of the best universities in the world in furthering the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals in the Times Higher Education Global Impact Rankings. So this here is our Kiel campus. It's the larger of our two campuses, and it's like a city within the city of Toronto and where most of our programs are located. So it's a large, modern, self-contained campus. That means there's a ring road surrounding it, and this really is a space just for York University students and staff. So the Kiel campus is home to about 52,000 students and has everything you need to live, work, and study. There's over 50 restaurants on campus, a small shopping mall, including a grocery store. There's a doctor's office, a dentist's office, a pharmacy. There's a huge athletics facility, 2 sports stadiums, and 6 ice hockey rinks in our ice hockey complex. Yes, we do like our ice hockey here in Toronto. And we have 8 different residence buildings for students to live in. And we encourage all of our international students to live on campus, at least for your first year, as it makes it way easier to make friends and get involved with all the great things happening at York, like clubs and teams and sports. And of course, there's nothing better than waking up, rolling over, and being in your first class in 5 minutes. So of course, the campus is a safe and welcoming place for incoming international students. And one of the other things that I really enjoy about the campus is that it offers super easy access to downtown Toronto by subway. So there's actually 2 subway stations on campus. This main one you see here is York University Station. And we actually had the Prime Minister of Canada, Mr. Justin Trudeau, come to our university to cut the ribbon when this station was opened back in 2017. Of course, it was a very big deal for York. Again, it's a straight shot to downtown Toronto with no transfers from our campus in about 30 minutes. So being at the Kiel campus is like being in a little city. With 52,000 students, That's your new home when you're studying in Toronto. But if you want to go downtown, and of course, this is more in a post-COVID situation for a concert or a festival, or to see a Raptors game, or just to try one of the restaurants that's not on campus, you can do that conveniently and easily. But at the end of the day, you're coming back home to a place that's just for you and your fellow York students. Now, we also have our Glendon campus, which is the smaller of our two campuses in Toronto. So it's a short 25-minute shuttle bus ride from the Keele campus that I just mentioned. It is in a park-like setting, and a few fun facts. Many of the classes are taught here in converted mansions, like the one you see in the picture. And there's a rule that no building can be taller than the tallest tree. It's also in one of the most beautiful areas of the city. So Drake's Mansion is just a 2-minute drive away from here. So I like to say that by going to the Glendon campus, you are essentially neighbors with Drake. So there's about 2,700 students studying here. So I mentioned before at the Keele campus, it's about 52,000, and here it's 2,700. So again, a much smaller campus. And it's typically for students interested in studying a subject like economics or psychology or biology or international relations, but in an international environment. What do I mean by international environment? Glendon is our bilingual campus, meaning that courses are taught here in French and in English. So you do not need to know French to study here. It's for students interested in a smaller campus with an international atmosphere. But if you do not know any French, you will need to take some French language courses in your first 2 years. Now, of course, if your major is at the Glendon campus, you can take some classes at the Keele campus. And if your major is at the Keele campus, you can take some classes here. It's all part of York University. So across our two campuses, we have 11 faculties. And as I mentioned before, we offer over 200 different programs. So a faculty is like a department or a grouping of departments that focus on a specific area of study. So this is a list of our faculties right here. So we do offer programs in arts, media, performance, and design, film production and screenwriting, engineering and computer science, life and physical sciences, health sciences, environmental science. We have very well-known business and commerce programs, humanities, social sciences, languages, and a whole bunch more. And we also do have the oldest law school in Toronto, the third oldest law school in Canada, and over 50 master's and PhD programs. So we do offer strong programming in all of those subject areas, and it's likely that we have the program that you're interested in. So what's unique about going to a large university like York is that it presents you with a lot of different opportunities. With many different majors to choose from, you have the ability to do your degree your way. So with most programs, you can do a double major or major minor and combine two different areas of interest to create your own unique degree. So you could do psychology with biology, or film production with business, or communication studies with marketing, environmental studies with human rights and equity studies, computer science with statistics that essentially creates a data science degree. So it is possible to combine most programs, and you'll still be able to finish your degree in the usual 4 years. And since this question comes up a lot, in most situations, there isn't an additional cost to doing a double major. So one example of combining two different areas of study is from one of our recent graduates, Kevin. So Kevin was a student in our BA Financial and Business Economics program. He was interested in business, but also interested in programming and app development. So he took some courses in IT and computer science during his degree. Now, as part of a pitch competition in one of his business classes, he came up with a great idea. So he felt that it was taking too much time to read his textbooks and imagined how great it would be if an app existed that would make study notes for you. So he presented this idea in his class and won the pitch competition. But then he took it to another level. With the support from his professors and the knowledge gained from his IT and computer science courses, he actually developed the app. He then submitted his business proposal to this TV show that you see on the screen here and got invited to come on. I think some of you might be familiar with this. This show is called Dragon's Den. It's like the Canadian version of Shark Tank, where entrepreneurs come on and pitch their business ideas and try and get investment from one of the 5 dragons. So Kevin was the first person in the history of the show to get investment proposals from all 5 dragons. And with their support, the app is available for download on the App Store now. It's called the Summary Scanner app, and it can be downloaded from the iOS or Android app stores. Of course, please feel free to support our York University students. And of course, this is just a great example of how you can combine several different subjects you're interested in, create a degree that's unique to you, and do something that is really amazing. So many of our programs also offer practical, hands-on learning opportunities, including co-ops, placements, internships, and practicums to get you real-world experience well before you graduate. So we have strong connections with employers in Toronto and the surrounding area. And of course, being in Toronto gives you access to Canada's largest job market. So a big focus of our programs at York is to make sure you're career ready by the time you graduate. And speaking of career preparation, we have whole teams at York to help you in the York University Career Center or the YU Experience Hub. So their job is to help prepare you for the working world and to find a job, which is, I think, for everyone, a goal after you're completing your 4-year program. So of course, they'll support you throughout your 4 years and then as you begin your career. So it doesn't just stop after you complete your program at York. They'll also help you write your resume in the Canadian style. They'll help you do practice interviews. They'll help you on the actual job hunt. And of course, they host career fairs where employers from various different industries come to our campus to recruit students right out of their program. And for this year, they're of course hosting everything virtually, those COVID or due to COVID-19. Then those are virtual recruitment fairs for employers. And they have been quite positively reviewed, both by the employers and our students. So again, beyond just these aspects for employment, another super helpful and supportive area of our university is York International. So this is the home away from home for international students at our school, and they'll help you also before, during, and after you've completed your program with orientation sessions, immigration advising. So they help with the study permit applications and post-graduation work permits, quarantine processes. So if that'll still be in place by the time that you arrive in Canada. Social activities, the Global Peer Program, which is designed to help new international students connect with upper year students called peer mentors who will help guide you through your first year. So these are all things that York International offers from the moment that you've accepted your offer at York University. And since we're a large university with many students, of course, we have on-campus housing for students to live in. So the dormitories for your first year are the classic dormitory style, like what you'd see in movies. And of course, like I said before, I always recommend staying in residence at least for your first year because it makes life significantly easier and a more simple transition when you're coming to Canada as you're moving from maybe high school or transferring from another university. It just it makes the process much smoother. And again, a great way to make friends. And also, we do have a deadline by which you can guarantee yourself a room in our on-campus housing too. And of course, throughout COVID-19, our residence buildings has not closed down. We've reduced the total number of rooms and made every room a single room, but students have continued to live our campus throughout all of this since COVID began last March. And of course, university isn't just about studying. We have an active and engaged student body with over 400 different student clubs and teams, which could be something related to your career aspirations or just for fun. So there are clubs focused on accounting, finance, medicine, history, robotics, on gaming, photography, filmmaking, film watching. There's a team for almost any sport you can imagine. And it's just a great way to make friends and enjoy yourself outside the classroom. And I just wanted to quickly highlight some unique connections York has to Turkey. So at the moment, over 130 students from Turkey are currently studying at York. And York has exchange partnerships with Koç University and Boğaziçi University and internship opportunities with the Turkey's Women's Entrepreneurs Association. Ulrich Shannon, the previous Consul General of Canada in Istanbul, now the Canadian ambassador to Iraq, he has a graduate diploma in security studies from York University. Tuğba Karademir, former professional figure skater and Olympian, is a graduate from York's Bachelor of Commerce program. Professor Murat Kristal held positions previously with Turkey's Directorate General of Civil Aviation. And he's one of our business professors, sorry. Political science and law professor Nargis Çenefe specializes in forced migration studies and international law and previously held positions at Boğaziçi University. Criminology professor Osgoode Topak, his research focuses on surveillance studies, criminalization of migration, human rights and sociology theory, and, well, of course, with a significant focus on Turkey. So these are just a few that I wanted to highlight, but there are many more Turkey connections at our university too. So I've just provided you with a whole bunch of information about our university. In this next section, I'll go into more details about applying to York and admission requirements. So there are two options for applying to York. One is the York application. So if you're sure you only want to apply to York, then I'd recommend this one as it'll save you a little bit of money. The other option is to apply through OUAC, or the Ontario University Application Center, which is the common application for Ontario universities. So OUAC gives you 3 choices of universities in Ontario with 1 application fee. So if you're planning on applying to a few universities, I'd recommend OUAC. Now, applications for fall 2022, so not this upcoming September, but next September. So if you're in grade 11 right now, that will open up in October. And feel free, of course, to scan the QR code that's on your screen, as it will take you to our applications page. I'll just leave that up for another moment. Okay, admission requirements. So this varies depending on the curriculum you're studying and the program you're applying to. But as with most Canadian universities, same with York, the most important thing for admission for most programs is your grades, period. So in general, the most important grades for us are your grade 12 grades, if you're coming from the Turkish curriculum or the Turkish high school, or your IB predicted grades if you're doing IB. Now, for most programs, we recommend grades of 70% or higher from the Turkish curriculum if for a conditional offer of admission. For IB, typically we recommend a 30 or higher. But for some programs, we will require higher grades. Like, just to give some examples of programs at York that are a bit more competitive for admission, like a Bachelor of Commerce, Business Administration, Engineering, Computer Science, Neuroscience. Those will all require a higher grade average. And again, this is super important. The admission requirements for our programs are not hidden and they are not a secret. Almost every curriculum and the requirements are listed on our website, including, of course, the Turkish and IB requirements. And also, if anyone is interested in transferring to York from another university, all the transfer requirements are also listed on our website. So feel free to scan the QR code that's on the slide there, and that'll take you right to our requirements page. But if for whatever reason you don't find what you're looking for, just email me or ask if you have a school guidance counselor, you can ask your guidance counselor to contact me. I'm super happy to help and clarify, and I'll be sharing my email address at the end of the presentation. Again, super happy to help. Now, we have some special notes when it comes to admissions. Okay, SATs are not required. SATs are a United States standardized test. You're in Turkey, and we are a Canadian university. Again, SATs are not required. Essays and letters of recommendation are also not required for most programs, but there are a few exceptions, like the Schulich School of Business BBA program and the Bachelor of Fine Arts programs that require a portfolio or an interview or an audition. Again, for those, you will need some additional documents, but that is also all listed on our website. For IELTS, TOEFL, or Duolingo, if you have been at a school where the main language of instruction is English for the final 4 years of high school, it's usually not required, but otherwise, we will require an IELTS score of 6.5, a TOEFL score of 83, or a Duolingo of 115 for most programs. But if your IELTS score or TOEFL score is below 6.5 or 83, that's okay too. My colleague Bashar will be speaking about the York University English Language Institute, which is our English language school. So you can be admitted to York, do an English program with us, and then begin your program of interest afterwards. So that's a great alternative, and that's, again, very strong English language programming too. But I'll let Bashar go into detail about that. Now, scholarships are available to international students. So this is a highlight from this year. I've actually just recently found out that this is going to be redeveloped for this upcoming year. So rather than going into details, I will just clarify, yes, we do have some amazing scholarships available to our international students who are interested in joining York. You will need a strong grade average. We usually recommend an A average or higher. Usually from the Turkish curriculum, that's like an 85% or higher, or from IB, like a 36 in your predicted grades or higher. You'll need a strong extracurricular profile, and you'll also need to be nominated by your high school for these scholarships. Again, this is being redeveloped and expanded. What I mean is that there will be many more scholarship opportunities this upcoming year for 2022 than there were for 2021. But again, I think you'll have a chance to chat with me during sessions in the fall, and I'll be able to provide some more information. So imagine what you see on your screen here with scholarship opportunities, but expanded. Now, to help you and your family plan for your studies as well, these are the costs for the fall 2021 semester, so the upcoming semester. So York is about in the mid-range of costs in terms of Canadian universities. Of course, for students studying online this year, due to the ongoing COVID-19 situation, only the tuition is being charged. Things like residence and meal plan are only for in-person students. And at this point in time, up until this current semester, in-person studies have not been mandatory. And we're hoping for a return to some in-person studies for the fall semester, that's fall 2021. And then expanding that through the winter 2022, so it's January 2022, and hopefully everything back to mostly normal completely by fall 2022. Again, tuition is about 32,000 Canadian dollars for most programs, and a total of about 52,000 Canadian dollars all in. And so let's quickly go through your application timeline for undergraduate programs for next year if you're planning to join York for winter, January 2022. So feel free to take a screenshot of this as well. So most of our programs have a winter or January intake. So if you're completing your high school studies or are thinking of transferring from your current university, you're very welcome to take advantage of this. We are one of the few universities in Canada that has a January intake of this size and scale. So applications are now open with the York application. You'll get access to your York account within 1 week of applying, and then you should upload your documents as soon as you have them. So it's recommended that you provide all documents by October 1st at the latest, so you can get a decision as soon as possible and in time to apply for your study permit still. And as long as all required documents were provided on time, you'll be able to begin enrolling your courses probably in early to mid-November. And then the winter semester will begin in January. Now, if you're planning to join York for September 2022, this is your timeline. So this is for anyone who's in grade 11 right now. And of course, feel free to take a screenshot. Applications open in October, and the early application deadline is January 15th, 2022. Now, the deadline for the supplementary application for some programs, like the BBA program, Bachelor of Design, Bachelor of Fine Arts, that will be February 3rd, 2022. Usually from February to May 2022, that's when you'll receive your decision. March 15th is the final application deadline. May 1st, for most students, will be the deadline to accept your offer of admission. And also May 1st is the deadline to for a guaranteed spot in our on-campus housing. August 15th is the deadline to submit your final grades. And then classes will begin on around September 8th. Whew. So that was a whole lot of information in about 30 minutes. So to summarize, at York, we offer high-quality programs in pretty much every area, taught by world-class professors with the highest qualifications in their field. Our Kiel campus is like its own city within the city of Toronto, but just for York University students. Our Glendon campus is an international community for students looking for that small campus vibe. And you're very welcome to join us for most programs in January and all programs in September, whatever fits with where you are in your current studies. And with that, I will hand it over to my colleague, Bashar Ansari, and he's going to give you, again, some additional details about the York University English Language Institute and our School of Continuing Studies. So I'm just going to stop my screen share here. And I'll pass it over. Thanks, Bashar.
All right, thank you very much, Carl, for that lovely presentation. I think it was very useful. You've provided a lot of information for our students here. So for all of you joining us today, my name is Bashar Ansari, and I'm the recruitment manager for the School of Continuing Studies, which houses our English Language Institute, and of course, the other continuing professional education programs, which are the postgraduate certificate programs that we offer here at York University. So I'd like to play a small video for you guys, first of all, to give you an introduction of the York University English Language Institute. So enjoy this video, guys. Okay, wonderful. So I hope you guys enjoyed this small video and you got a bit of an introduction about the English Language Institute here at York University. So I'm now going to share with you a presentation. So again, I have some slides that I'd like to go over with you. So let me just share my screen again. Just a second. Okay, so I hope you're able to see these presentation slides.
Yes, we can see, Bashar.
Okay, wonderful. So let me just switch to the English Language Institute slides, and then we will start off. Okay, so like I mentioned, guys, the York University English Language Institute, as they've explained in the video that you've just seen, it's actually one of Canada's largest English language training institutes. And we offer quite a wide variety of programs for students at all different levels. So you've just spoken to Carl, Carl's just spoken to you or mentioned to you about all the undergraduate programs offering here at York University. So if you're a student that does not have the right English language score in IELTS, for example, or PTE or any other test, acceptable test, and you are looking to improve your English before going into an undergraduate degree, we do have a variety of different type of options for you, which I'll speak to you about today. But just before I get there, I wanted to give you a few other stats. So we also do have a lot of diversity in our program. We have students coming from 50 different ethnicities. We usually get about 3,500 registrations every year. So it gives you an idea about the scale of the institutes. It's quite a large English language institute based here. It's one of the largest based in North America, in fact, for that matter. We've also achieved numerous awards when it comes to our reputation and recognition. We were the Language Educator of the Year finalist for the Pioneer Awards in 2019, and we were also nominated for the World Language School of the Year by iStudy. This was back in 2018-19. Just a few testimonials, what our student thinks about our program, and these are available on the website in case you want to, of course, ever reach out to any Turkish students to find out more about what their experience has been with us. You're very welcome to write to me, and I'll be happy to connect you with one of our Turkish students in the English language programs. Now, one other thing I would like to say here is that students that do take our English language programs tend to perform a lot better than their peers. So basically, students usually have a higher retention rate, a higher graduation rate, and they usually pass with a higher GPA as compared to other students that go into other undergraduate programs directly. So you can see the added benefit of a student coming into the English language program pathways and then going into their undergraduate degree programs. So in terms of the program overview, and I'm going to give you a bit of more detail about each individual program as well. We have programs that fit the needs of all students. So starting from our academic program, which is called the AP program, there's 9 levels for this program, and it's basically for anyone and everyone. You could be someone at the beginner level, so really basic English language skills, or you could be someone with some English language skills and want to improve it. Depending on your language skills, you will start on a certain level. And again, this program can also serve as a pathway into undergraduate in the last 3 to 4 stages. Now, moving to the other programs that give you conditional acceptance in the undergraduate program. So we have 3 other programs where, depending on your IELTS score, you'll be able to take up one of the 3 undergraduate pathway programs, meaning you will be able to get a conditional offer for an undergraduate degree, and you will be able to apply to the English language school and complete one of the language programs to meet the requirement for your undergraduate program, your language requirement. So let's talk about the Destination York programs first. So if you're a student and you've got, let's say you've got a 6.0 IELTS, and the requirement for most undergraduate programs is 6.5. So in that case, you can come into doing our Destination York program, which is an 8-week program. So you'll learn English for 8 weeks. Once you successfully complete this program, you will have the conditional offer for your undergraduate degree. So you'll meet the requirement and then start off your undergraduate degree. Similarly, for students that have a IELTS score of 5.5, we have a 16-week program, which is called Pre-Destination York. It is like the elder brother or the, like the younger brother or the elder brother, whatever you want to call it, of the other Destination York program. The only difference is Pre-Destination York is for students with a 5.5. The other one, Destination York, is for students with a 6 band in IELTS. The other program that we have, the undergraduate pathway, is the YU Bridge program. Now, this is an interesting program because students will be able to take some undergraduate courses as well while being in this YU Bridge program. So if you're someone that wants to not just take English, but you also think you want to learn more about the undergraduate classes and save some time by taking some undergraduate credits, then this is a program that you can definitely look at as well. And it does give you conditional acceptance into undergraduate degree. Apart from that, at graduate level, I know there's many students in Turkey that look for graduate studies in Canada, master's level studies. We do have a graduate study preparation program. So it's a program designed for students wanting to pursue graduate studies, not just in Canada, but actually in North America. So even if you're aiming to apply to US schools, for example, or Canadian schools, you're welcome to look at this program option to be able to improve your English language skills. We also provide some prep for GRE, GMAT and stuff. So overall, it's a great opportunity for students if you're looking to go into a good Canadian language school. I saw in the questions, someone was asking about, prep program for LLM. So we do have an intensive advanced legal English program. Usually the program runs only depending on the capacity and the number of students we get. So you are welcome to reach out to us if you need more information about this program. I'll be more than happy to provide that. We also have an MBA specialized master's program. So again, it's for students ideally looking to go into our Schulich School of Business MBA program, for example, or one of the other specialized masters of science programs. Students can come into this program and improve their English language skills, and you know, sometimes they might be able to get conditional acceptance in Schulich as well. However, of course, you have to apply to the Schulich school first to be able to do that. In addition to that, we also offer the spring and summer immersion program. So if you're a high school student and you just want to get some experience, you know, intercultural experience, you want to improve your English, you know, check out Toronto, see what it's like, what is the culture here, you know, how to get immune to studies, studying at a university, for example, in Canada. These are great programs for you to experience. And these are short programs, of course, designed for students like you coming out of high school, looking at joining undergraduate programs. So this is a slide with the tuition fees of our English language pathway programs. Now, most students that will apply from Turkey, you know, especially looking at doing undergraduate degrees at York University, would either, in my experience, explore YU Bridge, Destination York, or Pre-Destination York. As you can see, Pre-Destination York and Destination York, the cost for pre-DY is $4,095, meaning with an IELTS score of 5.5, you will first come in pre-DY, you'll be paying $4,095, and then you will also be required to do Destination York, $9,195. So on completion of both programs, you will be up at the level of 6.5, and you'll be able to join the undergraduate degree. Similarly, the DY program, I've already mentioned, the cost is $9,195. It's an 8-week program for students with a 6 band in IELTS. YU Bridge program, because it involves undergraduate credits, it is an 8-month program. If you're taking the 2-term program, you're usually required to have an IELTS score of at least 5.5 to be able to be eligible for the YU Bridge pathway. Or, you know, it's similar, more similar to a foundation program. It's a terminology more students are familiar with, I guess. And that program is $26,430. And then, of course, the academic program for students that just want to come here to improve their English. Each level in the academic program, so 8 weeks program, is $3,560. Now, guys, I would like to say here that I know that a lot of you would usually explore going to the private language schools, and you might be thinking, you know, in terms of the tuition fees, there's a huge difference here. I would like to mention that keep in mind all the factors that, you know, we spoke about in the video that I just showed you earlier. So the faculty that we have are all, you know, they either have a master's or a PhD. Most of the time, they're very qualified professionals, lots of experience in terms of teaching English. If you look at the overall facilities, of course, you get the exposure of studying at a university. In our programs, depending on the program you apply for, you also get the opportunity to sit in some undergraduate classes. So, you know, you do get that exposure, even being a language student, of how it's going to be and what it's going to be like for you as a student taking undergraduate studies in Canada. And of course, the reputation that comes with studying at the one of Canada's largest, one of North America's largest English language institute is, of course, something that is quite appealing. So one last program that I would like to mention about is the GSPP. So again, the tuition fees for GSPP, it's an 8-month full-time program. It's $16,095. This is the graduate study preparation program that I was referring to you about. The program does not offer conditional acceptance into masters. Like it's not like you'll get a conditional offer letter along with this. Once you're in the GSPP program, you will get assistance by our program managers. They will assist you with applying to different Canadian schools for graduate studies. It could be for graduate certificates or diplomas. It could also be for graduate master's programs, depending on whatever you're seeking. And then for students with a slightly higher IELTS score, if you have, for example, a 6.5 in the IELTS, then you might also be able to take the 4-month GSPP program, which is like a fast-track version of the 8-month program. And of course, that is why the cost is almost half of what it is for the 8-month program. So just some costs mentioned here for you guys. So of course, we're looking at housing, meal, transportation. I guess Carl's shown you a slide on some of the living cost in Canada already. So I'm just going to quickly skip through this, considering the time. Now, because I've already spoken to you about the language programs briefly, I would encourage you to check our website or get in touch with me if you require further information. Before I end this presentation, I do want to quickly take you through some of our postgraduate certificates and the English language programs through which you can also get conditional offers for postgraduate certificate programs. So we offer 7 full-time postgraduate certificate programs at the School of Continuing Studies. And these programs include business administration, human resource management. Then we have accounting, and we have the advanced stage of that accounting program, which is the advanced professional accounting. We also offer content and digital marketing, public relations, and blockchain development. Now, blockchain is the technology used in cryptocurrencies. So for those of you that are trading in Bitcoins and other cryptocurrencies, if that's something of your interest, you should definitely look at also the blockchain program. It might be of interest if you're interested in the technology side of things. So the postgraduate certificates we offer are all 8 months or 1 academic year. We have multiple intakes for these programs, so 3 times a year, so quite convenient for students. The next available intake is September. Our applications are still open for September intake until July 15th. So you still have time to apply from Turkey for one of our postgraduate certificates. The tuition fees for these programs is also very competitive. I'm going to show you in the next slide. All the students that complete our postgraduate certificates are eligible for a postgraduate work permit of up to 1 year, because this is a 1 academic year program. Usually students get a work permit of up to 1 year. So in terms of the requirements for the CPE programs, we usually require students to have at least a 60% overall mark in their bachelor degree for them to be eligible for the postgraduate certificates. We also need an IELTS score of 6.0 overall, or if you have a Duolingo, for example, a 104 in Duolingo. Some programs you might need to have a 6.0 in writing and speaking specifically also, in addition to the overall 6.0. So please make sure you check the program requirement for each individual program, just to double check. The only program with the IELTS requirement of 6.5 is our blockchain development certificate. So it's slightly higher than other programs at 6.5. The others are all 6.0. Some programs might have additional requirements, such as you providing a CV or a statement of interest or a video of interest. So please do make sure you check those requirements before applying. For students that have a lower English score, so let's say if you have a 5 or a 5.5 or a 4.5 and you're looking for conditional offers for certificate programs, we do offer that as well. So depending on your language score, we will be able to admit you into one of our English pathways, probably the academic program that we offer, which is basically every term is 8 weeks. So let's say you have a 5.5 score, it is likely that you will be required to do, for example, an 8-week of English program leading into the postgraduate certificate program once you've successfully completed the English language pathway. So please do get in touch with us if you need any further information about that. Now, in terms of the tuition fees for the certificates, as you can see, 4 out of the 7 certificates are only 15,199. Now, our tuition fees is actually even lower than some of the colleges, some of the good colleges in GTA area that you might already be familiar with. So us being a university, of course, does mean that you get the overall experience and exposure of studying at a university as compared to a college, which is, of course, one of the factors that I always tell students to consider when applying for a postgraduate certification. Some of the programs are a little bit more expensive. So backend and blockchain development, for example, is 20,099. Similarly, human resource management is 18,999. Business administration, accounting, digital and content marketing and PR are all 15,199. So this is what I had for you today. Of course, considering the time and that you may have some questions, I'm going to stop my presentation here, and we will now give you guys time to ask us any questions that you have, either about the undergraduate, postgraduate certificates, or the English language programs. I did want to mention here that I can see some students are asking questions about master's programs. Unfortunately, me and Carl, we do not represent, not the master's or PhD studies in particular. So we'll be happy to maybe get you in touch with the relevant people, or what we'll do is in the chat box, we can put down some details of who to contact if you're inquiring about master's programs here in Canada. thank you very much, guys. And we will now look at the questions. So I'm not sure how we are doing this, Hasna, because some of the questions are in Turkish. So
Some
okay, it's
in Turkish, but I typed in English. And
okay, yeah.
For example, first one, we should start bottom of questions, bottom ones. For example, they're asking, do you ever offer any master's program in nursing? But as you said, you will not inform about a master's program. Melek Hanım, bununla alakalı, master programlarıyla alakalı bir link bırakılacak, iletişim bilgisi. O kişiye sorabilirsiniz. Başar ve Karl lisans programları ve Postgraduate Certificate programları ve dil hazırlığı programları ile ilgili bilgilendirdiler. I have explained to her.
Okay, perfect.
Thanks, Hasna. I just wanted to mention that I put in the chat box a link to the graduate studies page and a contact person that anyone who's interested in master's or PhD programs, please contact my colleague Eileen, and she'll best be able to assist you with any questions relating to master's or PhDs. And again, that's in the chat box. It's the most recent thing in the chat box.
And I just wanted to add one other thing. So if you are a student that is wanting to pursue a master's and you want to do a prep program, so just like I mentioned about our graduate study preparation or the specialized program for legal studies in Canada, there are some options that you can talk to me about if you're looking for prep study, English preparations specifically for graduate studies. So please do get in touch if you think that you would first require language studies before pursuing a master's program, and I'll be able to help you with that.
Great.
Okay,
so
I can read questions for you if you want. I will skip master's questions. İlgi Tayfun sormuş master programları ama belirttiğimiz gibi master programları ve doktora programları ile ilgili chat kısmına Karl'ın bıraktığı iletişim bilgisinden ulaşabilirsiniz. Oraya yöneltebilirsiniz sorularınızı. Burada diğer sorulara yanıt verebilecek. And the other questions is about LLM. I think no, we will skip it. Yes, Zatia asking. Sure.
Sorry, Asna. I was just going to say, because this student was asking about LLM, I believe York University does offer an LLM program. And usually for the English program that I was telling you about, it's designed only for students looking into going to York's LLM program. So just wanted to clarify that. So if you are looking at the intensive English, the legal English program, it's not for students looking to go to other schools. So if you're looking for York's LLM, that is when you should be considering that particular program as well. And I'm going to put down a link for that program in the chat box for the reference of the student that asked the question.
Thank you, Bashar. And the other question is that he asking, which undergraduate courses are the most advantageous for students if we intend to do career in Canada?
So I don't mind answering this one. So this is really about what interests you the most. There's many different career paths students can pursue, especially after graduating from a four-year university degree in Canada. You'll be able to receive the post-graduation work permit that allows you to stay in Canada for up to 3 additional years. So similar to, I think, the advice you get from guidance counselors or career advisors, do something that you're most passionate in, and that will lead you to a strong career path. So, I mean, some of the most popular programs at York are engineering, computer science, business-related programs, but we do have some digital media programs, the hard sciences, life sciences, health sciences, but also humanities and social sciences that can lead to rewarding careers as well. So there's no like one magic answer that's like, oh, do this. It's really what you're most interested in and passionate about. So I focus on that first rather than just the program.
Thank you, Carl. And this question is both for you. Is application deadline still open for this September?
Okay, so the deadline to apply for undergraduate programs at York, some programs are still open, but the recommended deadline again was March 15th, and we're already long past that. So you can still apply to most programs, but you might not receive a decision at this point until maybe late August, which is quite late. So if you'd like to apply for the fall semester still for September, send me an email. Again, my email address is on the screen right now. Send me an email, let me know what program you're interested in, and then we can talk about what the likelihood of being admitted is. But again, it's quite late, and that's why maybe, depending on your situation, I'd recommend the winter 2022 semester that begins in January. But send me an email.
Thank you. Adrian asking about aerospace engineering, but I think she means undergraduate program. That's why I'm asking you, Carl.
No problem.
Aerospace engineering.
So we have 7 types of engineering at York, and that includes space engineering. It's the only space engineering program in Canada. So our specific focus in that engineering programs are things that will go into orbit and then beyond orbit. So it does overlap significantly with aerospace, but it's kind of a different focus. So if you're interested in aerospace, though, I would strongly encourage you to look into our space engineering program, which again, is the only space engineering program in Canada.
And next one is a scholarship question. Musa is asking, is there any stipend scholarship in history or philosophy graduate programs? If there is, what are the requirements?
So this question is also better answered by our colleague Eileen. And again, her contact information is in the chat box. Since it relates to graduate programs, there are some funding packages available for graduate students, but she's more familiar with what that looks like. And I believe that those funding packages are tied also to teaching assistant work as well. But again, Eileen will best be able to answer what those funding packages might look like.
And the next one, how much does it cost on-campus residences average?
So I think I addressed this in the, I have the slide up again. So this is the approximate cost for one full academic year. And for, I have double room listed there. Now that's the price for a single room approximately. And that's for one academic year or 8 months. And that's $7,100-ish.
And Bashar already replied one question. It was how long is the admissions process? I think it depends on the programs or...
Yeah, I think maybe Carl can touch on the undergraduate. I just thought I'll add a note about certificates here.
Thanks, Bashar. So for undergraduate programs, it typically takes 6 weeks to get a decision after you've submitted all of your documents. So the timer doesn't start from when you apply to York. The timer starts from when York has received the required documents, which includes your transcripts, English proficiency requirements, amongst some other documents depending on your background. So that's usually how long it takes, 6 weeks from when we've received everything from you that we need. And then there's an application. Here's an example of the application timeline again.
Thank you. And the next question is, for the new academic year, the education will be on campus or hybrid model?
So I think Bashar is typing a response that I think will relate to ULE of the York University English Language Institute and with the postgrad programs. For the undergraduate programs, there is a planned return to some on-campus learning for the September semester, but exactly what that looks like, we're not sure yet. So it will be, some courses will be available fully online, some courses will be a hybrid model, and a very few number of courses will be in-person only, but all programs for the undergraduate studies will have an online option in case you're not able to come to Canada from Turkey in time for the September semester. So it will vary, and there's updates coming out relatively frequently from the university about what that looks like, especially as the situation changes and as more people are getting vaccinated here in Canada.
And I just wanted to add quickly about the language pathways and postgraduate certificates. So it's the same as what Carl's mentioned at the moment. You know, things are still a little bit unclear. Everything depends on how things work out in the next couple of months. But we do have, of course, the online offerings for students, which is the preferred option considering COVID and everything. By the way, we are amongst the list of approved institutions with a readiness plan. So meaning students, even if your classes are, for example, online, if there is a program that you're in which requires some in-person classes, you are allowed to travel to Canada, and then you can do your online classes from within Canada. But of course, the safety is the first priority for us, for our students, for our staff, for the community. So we do recommend that you explore the options before making that decision.
Thank you, Bashar and Carl. And the next question is, will York University help students find jobs in Canada? I think it's related in a career center, partner companies.
Yeah, I think as mentioned in when I was speaking earlier, yeah, we have whole teams that their main focus is on helping York University students find jobs. And those are supports, again, that are available to you during your studies and after your studies. So yes, absolutely. And again, many programs have co-ops, internships, placements, and practicums to get you real-world experience as part of the program. But again, I think I touched on that in the session as well. But in case you have specific questions, you can always email me too.
And the other question, do we need to do application for scholarship after done our course application?
That's a great question. So the usual process is step 1, apply to York. Step 2, before you've received the decision, you should be applying for the scholarships as well. So it's apply to York, apply for the scholarships, submit all of your documents, and then you'll hear back about everything all together, usually in April. So don't wait for a response before applying for the scholarships. Again, in terms of the timeline, I have it here. Great. So in terms of the timeline, I do recommend applying usually by January 15th at the latest, but then the scholarship deadline is usually February 1st. So apply, submit the scholarship information, then hear back about everything, usually around sometime between March and May.
Thank you, Carl. Other 2 questions I think already replied by you, Bashar.
Yeah. I'll just quickly tell the people about the postgraduate certificate. So if you're doing the 8-month program, it is still 1 academic year or 2 semesters. So students are still eligible to get a work permit of 1 year upon completion of these certificates. And students sometimes also do 2 back-to-back certificates. So for example, if you're doing the accounting and then the advanced accounting, or you're doing business administration and then you do the marketing certificate, so you can combine the length of both program and then apply for a postgraduate work permit, which means that you'll be able to apply for a work permit of up to 3 years for 2 programs coupled together. So that is also an option available. In terms of the processing times for postgraduate certificates, it's fairly quick. If you submit a complete application and you're meeting the requirements, you might even see offers going out in 2-3 days, a week's time. If the application is incomplete or it's on a waiting list because you're not or you're marginally meeting the entry requirements, that is when usually there are delays in applications.
And last question is regarding master's program, political science in masters. So Ömer Ali Bey, sorunuz şimdi burada yüksek lisans programları ile ilgili bilgi verilmediği için chat kısmına bir link bırakıldı yüksek lisans programlarının temsilcisiyle ilgili. Bu sorunuzla ilgili kendisine e-mail atabilirsiniz. Teşekkür ederiz. I'm checking the chat box and there is no any other questions there. Looks you covered all questions, Bashar and Carl. Would you like to add some things? Or
I think we're good. I hope everyone found like the information session valuable and somewhat interesting, and you've learned a bit more about maybe studying in Canada and York University and the options that we have available. Again, if you ever have any questions, please feel free to contact myself when it comes to undergraduate programs, Bashar if it comes to York University English Language Institute questions, or postgrad certificate programs. And then in the chat box, like I mentioned before, my colleague or our colleague Eileen, who is responsible for master's and PhD programs. And of course, we have these many people responsible for different areas because the application process and the system is completely different for each of our sections. And we want you to speak to the experts who will best be able to assist you. But other than that, thanks for joining us today. And anything to add, Bashar?
No, all good. Thank you very much for attending. Thank you, Hesna, for arranging this for us. And I know we have another session for those of you here that are more interested in the postgraduate certificates. We do have a specific session on postgraduate certificates with IEFT on the 15th of June. So please do come and attend that session if you want to learn more about the postgraduate certificate programs in detail.
I have also added to chat box your emails. You covered all questions. There were many questions. It was very beneficial session. Thank you for your great presentations. I hope to see you again. I think we will see you again. See you next time.
Yep, very soon. So thank you very much again. You guys have a wonderful day ahead.
Let me thank to participants as well in Turkish. Arkadaşlar katıldığınız için çok teşekkür ederiz. Ben chat box'a hem Başar'ın hem Karl'ın e-mail adresini de kopyaladım. Oradan alabilirsiniz. Başka sorularınız olursa kendilerine doğrudan sorabilirsiniz. Saat 6'da diğer webinarımız var. Ona da bekleriz hepinizi. Teşekkürler. Thank you again, Başar and Karl.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Thanks, Esna. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye. See you next time.
Bye.